Hello, everyone. It's winter where I'm at, and just like you, I spend the cold months daydreaming about the things I'll do in the spring with my trees. This video is about one such daydream. I've been thinking a lot about projects you can do in the winter. I have a ton of small material in my collection: cuttings, seedlings, trees grown from seed. And I wanted to think about how I could potentially make a bunch of fairly high quality containers for that small material. That's where this idea came from. Using inexpensive materials and a process I was fairly familiar with. I've made pots before using concrete. I used the patch fill style, some other additives, and it served me well. I have pots that I've made for forests that have been in my collection for 5 to 6 years, living outside in the cold northeast winters, and they're still hard and secure and sturdy. So I wanted to scale that down to this Shohin size, and to do that I thought that I needed to make some delicate and Shohin size mold. The other pots I used armatures and other scaffolding inside the pot to help make the shape, and this one's going to be done a little bit different than that. So in this video we're figuring out the process of how to do that as well. One of the things I was concerned about just with a small pot is the tendency for the rim of the pot to be jagged or pointy. So I took a lot of time in these molds that I made to ensure that there was a nice rounded edge and a recess that the concrete could flow into. About the mold release and how to get the pot safely out of the mold and hopefully reuse it. So two materials were used. I used some acrylic paint to create hopefully a waterproof barrier between the mold and the concrete, and before I decided to add a little vegetable oil on top of that as well. So the concrete I used in this test was a little bit different than the concrete I'd used prior. I liked the durability of the pots that I'd made prior, but didn't love the color, the dull gray color. So I added a little bit of grout that I had left over from a construction project. I was a little concerned that that may weaken the pots, but I wanted to try anyway. I also had these fiberglass pieces that I used in my prior pots that help with the durability and adhesion of the concrete to itself. So these pots are not going to be fancy pots or highly detailed pots. They're meant to be wabi-sabi, non-bond style pots. As you can see, at least one of the trials didn't quite work out as I'd hoped. Like all things in bonsai, you learn. This example, where I used a little less additive, actually turned out to be a decent pot. Still haven't quite figured out the mold release piece yet. I'm going to continue to hone this process with the hopes of being able to create dozens of these pots from my small trees.